Hi guys! Today I've got a really simple layout design to share with you using 6x6 inch papers. I always say that 6x6 inch papers may sound limiting because of their size, but you'll quickly learn once you start creating with them that they aren't as limiting as you might have thought. You just have to find some ways to break past that size limitation, and this layout is a good example of what I mean. This video shows how you can use multiple pieces to create the illusion of larger papers. And just to let you know, I am teaching a class on using 6x6 inch paper pads on full-size layouts, and it starts in May. The registration is currently open and will be open until May 2nd. And I have a video that explains what all is in the class, and I'll link to it and the class registration down below in the video description. It's going to be a really fun class, and it includes a huge community of scrapbookers that share their layouts too. And as of right now, we have over 900 people signed up, so it's going to be packed with 6x6 inch inspiration. If you enjoy using 6x6 inch papers, you'll definitely want to check it out. So back to what I was talking about before, this layout design shows two different ways that I like to use 6x6 inch papers to conquer that size limitation. The first is using two full sheets together to create a quick and easy background piece. You can use two different patterns, or you can use two of the same like I did to create the appearance of one full 6x12 inch piece. The second is using two 6-inch strips together to create 12-inch strips and then hiding the seam behind another element on the layout like I did with both the full sheets and these stripe strips. Both of these 6x6 inch design ideas create the illusion of full 12-inch pieces. Looking at my layout, you would never know that these papers were 6 inches and not 12-inch papers. To begin creating this layout, I started by adding the two 6x6 inch sheets for my background. I used this Simple Stories Life Documented paper pad, and it had this really great grid paper with a big chevron design going across it. So I decided to use both of the sheets included in the paper pad together, and it creates this really cool background piece with a decorative element going down the page. I decided to add some 1/4-inch accent strips on both sides of the background piece. To do this, I cut 4 1/4 by 6-inch strips, and I'm going to add 2 to each side of the background piece to create a full 12-inch strip. This is one of the best ways to get around that 6-inch size and create bigger or longer designs. Now I'm going to add my photos on top of the seams where the 6-inch papers meet, and this covers up any evidence that these are 6-inch papers. You can hide seams like I did with photos, or you can hide them behind embellishments or your journaling or maybe even a title. A little tip, if you want to really stretch your paper supply and use as little as possible, you could also cut pieces that line up with the bottom of your photos or the top of your photos and get the same look. So on this layout, I could have added my photos first and then used 3-inch pieces for the top and 5-inch pieces for the bottom. After my photos are added, I'm going to add a stitched border to the background pieces. I love using stitching as an accent to add a little more detail and texture to the papers. I used a ruler and pencil to draw my lines, and then I used a paper piercer to pierce the holes along the pencil line. When I'm done, I erase the pencil lines. I'm using a lighter cream-colored embroidery floss, and I don't want those pencil markings to dirty up the thread. And then I add the stitching using a backstitch. So now I can start adding in all of the fun stuff. First, I added a frame to the center photo. I absolutely love all of these photos and how well they show Jackson's personality, but I really, really love that center photo, so I wanted to highlight it by adding that frame. I'm going to add some heart clusters to the corners of the photos. I'm using some punched hearts and some die cut hearts that came with this paper collection. I've added stitching to the larger punched hearts to again add that texture and detail that I love so much with stitching. Anytime I have a large punched shape or die cut that is a simple shape, I am most likely going to add stitching to it. It's just one of those habits that I have started over the years, and I just love the detail that that stitch border adds to those simple shapes. The next detail I add is my title. I'm using a combination of a wooden word with a metallic gold die cut. I like to mix up the texture and style of the words and letters I use in my titles to bring interest to them. I wanted them to slightly overlap, and since the wooden letters are really thick, I had to use foam adhesive to add the gold happy word. And then to finish, I added some tiny red alphabet stickers to spell out the word "and." To coordinate with the wooden title, I add a few wooden hearts into the heart clusters. These hearts actually came with the word, so they match perfectly, and I like having those pieces complementing the title. I also added a little file tab die cut that came with this collection to the top of the photo frame in the center. Next, I add my journaling. I really like using journaling strips because I can customize the shape of them and position them around the elements on my layouts like I do here in between the hearts and the title. This paper pad had a really cute paper that is covered in cameras, and anytime I see a paper with cameras, I'm probably going to find a way to use it in some way on my layout. And I thought I could cut out a few of them and add them to the bigger hearts. I think word and phrase stickers are my ultimate go-to finishing detail that I use on almost every layout. I love the detail they add, and you can almost always find a word or phrase that fits your photos or theme. I added a few to the hearts and one to the file tab at the top of the photo frame. Anytime I am creating clusters, I like to add a variety of detail and textures and shapes, and enamel dots are one of my go-to finishing elements that I like to add to clusters. And I just put a few here and there to fill out the design. I really liked the look of the wooden title and the small wooden hearts, so I decided to add even more wooden elements. I added a darker wooden heart to the center of the two punched hearts, one in each corner. Then I added some small wooden cameras with the cameras that I had cut out of the pattern paper. One of my favorite details to add to camera embellishments is a punched heart in the center of the lens. And to me, as cheesy as it sounds, the photos I take are kind of an expression of love for those that I take photos of, so I like adding that heart to the center of a camera lens whenever I can as a symbol of that love. These cameras are really small, so I use a tiny Fisker punch to punch out two small hearts, and I adhered them with foam adhesive so they really stand out. This layout came together really fast for me, and I'm not usually a fast scrapbooker at all, especially since I like to do so much hand stitching. But whenever I use 6x6 paper pads, my layouts always come together faster. And that's one of the many things that has drawn me into using them so often. Between the quicker pages, the cheaper cost, and the ease of storing them, I am 100% hooked on 6x6 paper pads. And just so you know, my family's scrapbook store, Scrapbook Generation, has a ginormous supply of 6x6 paper pads, including a lot of brands that you won't find most places. I'll link to them down below in the video description. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, be sure to comment and I'll get back with you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.